Okay, welcome to Daf to Sotah, Yerushalmi Sotah, Daf Chav Ches Amud Aleph. We're on the bottom of Daf Chav Zayin Amud Beis by the Mishnah. Halacha Hey Zok the Heilige Mishnah. Boy beyond there should be Shul ben Horkinis. Shloi Ovid Iev is Malkin El Ma'ava. That Iev, as we know, obviously is Machlokes. Iev with himself, how he was noig, was he a tzaddik gomer? So Rishub ben Horkinis says he was over the Malkim, he was over the Hashem. Ma'ava. Hashem says Heinik Talenu Lo Yayachel. And loy over here being loy ayachel is that I have hope to him. That was loy with a vav as opposed to with a in aleph, which could be read too. I die of a shakel, right? I'm not sure. Loy ni mitzape or any mitzape. So the Mishnah says, right? Says I don't know. Loy can be read like we said either way. The Mishnah is printed with the vav, but it's at the end of a shakel. Not sure. Loy ni mitzape does mean that loy, right? Loy ayachel is that I'm mitzape to I looked at Hashem. Which obviously means that he was be'avo. I gave up. I'm not looking to him to help me. Tamalema adegva leyosi tumasi mimeni liman shemav also. So adegva until I die leyosi tumasi my tmimus won't go away from me. So in other words, he's doing it may ahava. Okay. Boy miyam darsha b'shuvan hokin is tani b'shem Rabbi Yehuda. So it says in the pasuk chai kel heisem mishpati v'shaka heimer nafshi. Right, that's what it says in the pasuk. Shein odem noide b'chayav shel melech elam kein oyavai. So you see that chai kel, chai is lashon hashvu. He says kel in the name of Hashem. So the Gemara says somebody doesn't, right? If I don't like the particular God, I'm not going to swear in his name. So obviously, Eve must have been okay with Hashem. Shumat of nas namru gam hu li shu ki l'fanav chanav yavai. Right. So again, so he. So he says, Gam Huli Yeshua. See that he was saying Gam Huli, that Hashem will be Yeshua for me. So you see, he believed in Hashem. So it's me have. So the Gemara Kosev Echadim V'Haftas Hashem Lekecha because V'Acher Roime Es Hashem Lekecha Ti Ravois Esavit. So which one is V'Haftas Hashem Lekecha? Right? Is that is with love, right? And then he has Hashem Lekecha Tira is mashma with more of an aima, with a fear. Voice Esavit. So Gemara says Asa Me'avo. Asay me'ava v'asay me'ira. Do it from Ava, do it from Asay me'ava she'im bos lisnoi. If you're coming to chas v'sholom hate, da shat oyev. No, ve'in oyev saying that you're a lover and a lover doesn't hate. Asay me'ira she'im bos levait. If you want to rebel against Leilain, you want to right, you want to rebel against Hashem. Ein yorei mevait. If you're scared, right, at least you have that fear of God in you. You're not going to be mevait. Okay, shiva perushin hein. There are 7 Perushin, those kinds of people who they seem like one thing, but they actually are something else. I think I was going to go through all these. Parish Shichmi, someone's a Parashich, Parish Nikfi, Parish Kize, Parish Manke, Parish Eida Chavasi Vesena, Parish Yira, Parish Ava. Parashichmi, what is that? Talmitzvos al kisvei carries the mitzvahs of shichmi, like shechem, it's like his galot he's carrying. So he's carrying it on his shoulder. In other words, he wants to look. Everybody should look. You should look like a tzaddik. Parish nikfi akifli vanovid mitzvah. So one shot is akifli. Give me some credit. Lend me money so I can do a mitzvah. In other words, he wants to look from. I'm even willing to borrow money to do a mitzvah. Parish Kize, Ovid Choda Choiva, V'choda Mitzvah, Mikazes Adom Adon. No, so I'm a kind of guy I balance out. I didn't know if got to do a mitzvah to kind of balance it out. This will let one rub against, let one go up against the other. Parish Menachia, Man Disli, Moano Menaki, Ovid Mitzvah. So there's Man Esli. If when I have, right? Whatever I have, I don't, I'm not stingy in doing mitzvahs. I give up whatever I have for doing a mitzvah. Parish Eidach Chavosi Vesena, Eidach Chavosi Avdis to Nevet Mitzvah de Kavaso. I go through Cheshmonis of my various, so some of this other character we had before, Parish Kize, right? So I go through my various, no mitzvahs I have to do. Parish Yira is Kiev. He's over Meir. Obviously, he's arguing on what the Rabbi Shubin Horkin said. Parashava is Kavram. Ein l'chachavim mikulan ela Parashava Kavram. Who's the best loved from all them is Avram. Avram also Yetzer Ra Toiv. Avram was able to make his Yetzer Hara and turn it into a Yetzer Toiv. Matam. Where do we see this from? Mitzasas levavoi ne'eman lefenecha. His heart was completely ne'eman, trustworthy to you. And as we see that he all he had was one that even Levava Yehodrah Hayanim Lefnei Hashem, like the Carbonator says. Amar Vacha Vehivshim he even made a pshar with him. Abraham was able to make a pshar with him. He says V'choris Imoy Habris. Well, Pasha is talking about Hashem, but obviously V'choris Imoy Bris that Abraham made a bris. He made a treaty with the Yetzer Hara to leave him alone. Ava David lo yachal boy. David couldn't do what Abraham did. He wasn't such a madrega, and he killed him in his heart. Matam, where do we see from? V'libi chal b'kiva, empty space in my heart. Empty space is where the Yetzer Hara once occupied. Rabbi Kiva have emitted in Kulmi to Nisropis Harasha. So this is the story of Akiva was being put to death. He was being Dan Obed Gemara says he was being put to death. Also the Krishma, Shari, Kari V'gachich. So what happened? Came time to say Krishma as he's being Dan in front of Tunis Ropis, Russia, and he bends down and he starts reading Krishma. Amalei Tunis Ropis Russia says to him, Saba, Oicherishat, either you're crazy. Okay. I'm a vapi surnat. You don't care about pain. Amalei tipach ruchet hugav. Let your head explode. Like cherish, and I'm not stupid. Lo mevapi surnana either. No, it's bothering me. Elokol yoma yisi kores apasik hazev after tshrim lekecho chol vav chol nav shkol meidecho. Rechamte b'chol libi. And I was mekayim. I loved Hashem lo meha. Rechamte b'chol money. And I gave away my money for Hashem. B'chol nafshi lo havis pedikali. I didn't know if I have I'm up to the madrei b'chol nafshi. V'ukedoin dematas li b'chol nafshi v'os is answer the krishma lo yifalges alei. Right, and I shouldn't do it. So it finally comes. Here's my chance. Right, begin Cain. So because it is, I know Kari Shema v'Gachir, and that's why I'm reading Shema. The Chem Yamsuni Shimish es Rabbi Kiva Sumishtaim Shana. Chem Yamsuni was at Ham Rabbi Kiva for 22 years. Hu yoimer es and v'gamim ribuyin. Es and gam is ribuy. Achen v'raken mutin. Famous Rosh Amalei Mao Dein Siv. So he asked. So Nehemiah asks Rabbi Akiva, "Mao de d'chsiva steht in Pasuk es Hashem lekecha tira." What's es Hashem lekecha? Right? There's a famous Rashi, have in the Bible also. Amalei oisai, and over here we say oisai v'es teirasai means him and his Torah, which is the people teirasai. Is minat Torah v'loim there the carbonated says similar to what we have in the Bavli, which it says it's the rabbis Talmidei Chachamim. Okay. Sagt der Heilige Mishnah Locha Vav. Amar Rabbi Shua mi galo feminecha Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. She said, "Doirish kol yamecha shloi abad iyavas makom elam yira." Right. So Rabbi Shua says, "Who's going to uncover your eyes, with the dirt from your eyes?" Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, you always darshan that Iyav was oivid as a makom yira. Not miyava. Shneimah says, "Ish tam yoshi yirei elikim v'samira." But Yeshua talmidcha, Yeshua talmid of your talmid limeid. Also, like we just saw in the previous Mishnah, that he was actually Oived Hashem Me'ava. When did he exist? He existed in the time of Rama. We see it says in the pasuk Ishay Baritz Utz Iv Shmoi Ksiv Es Utz B'Chayrei. It's Bazachiv, right? So it goes through that whole the whole yichus over there. So in times of Ram, Rabbi Abba Ama Abimei Avinu Yaakov Hayus in Yaakovinu's times. So Dina is Ishto. Dina was Mrs. Yevadot Iksiv. It says in the pasuk Kedaber Achas on Avolois Tedaberi Iksiv Ki Nevola also Yisrael by the mice of Dina and Shem. He existed in times of Shvat Nadod Iksiv Asher Chacham Yagidu V'Loi Ki Chadum Avaisim. Chacham Yagidu. In other words, they said over things. Right, it's going on. The carbonated says going on Reuven Yehuda. They will made the chet that they did to their father. Right, like Ki Chadum Avaisim. Weren't embarrassed to the father. Weren't scared of the father. So they existed in those times. Rabbi Yossi Bechalafto Ma Biri Dasan. Biri Dasan. Actually, just go back for a second. He says, so what do you see from this pasuk? Right, Asher Cham Yagidu. So that pasuk. Right, Shacham Yagidu V'Lo Chadum Avaisim is mashma that took place in the times of it's a pasuk in Eiv, and it took place in the times of Eiv. Rabbi Yosef Menachalafto Mabiri Dosan Mitzrayim or Yov Aliyasan Meis. He went down. He was there when they went down to Mitzrayim, and when they came back, that's when he died. Mashal Rosh Bozev. So it's a marshal to a roy, a shepherd, that a zev came and his davig l'tzayin, and the zev was going to go after his sheep. And also hem a tayish echad. The negdos he had a tayish, I think ram, right? The opposite to scare it away. Ador diksiv yaskireni kel el avil vayidei rishon yirteni. So Vaidei Shom Yiteni Elavil Zeh Satan Eskar Boizuk the carbonated. That's the Satan that's always rating on. Vaidei Rishom Yiteni Vaidei Yisrael Shub Mitzrayim Shaloi Yisgara Behem Hu Yiteni. And that was Eve. He was there to protect them. Tanu Bishmol Eve Me'avdei Pari Hoya Umigidole Pamalia Shaloi Hoya. He was from the servants of Pari. This is the more famous, right? The Medrash. Yet he was from the Avdei Pare, and he was the Gedolim of his Pamalia, his entourage, or his army. And oh yeah, Hadoid Iksiv, Hayoris Dvar Hashem, Iksiv Bei Ish Tom Yosha Yirei Lekim V'Somiras. You see, it's the same, right? It says Hayoris Dvar Hashem Badamakis, and he says Ish Tom Yosha Yirei Lekim. Actually, very cute. The carbonate says Pamelia Shaloi. He brings that. He says Pamelia Beloshin. He says maybe name Shpachtas from he was from Paris family. He says Beloshin Laz. It's familia, which obviously in English we know is family. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda Mimei Shvaita Shaiftim Hoya. Adoy Diksiv Hein Atam Kulchem Chazisem Beloma Ze Hevel Tabolu Chazisem Maasedoshem Shoyinoitlen Me Maise Bigranos Ahavas Esnan Kol Al Kol Garnos Digan. So So he said over there in those days, the kind of Levim used to take, they would take, it's us if a kind to take Maisa Begranis, right? Shouldn't, right? Then that's right. So the Shoftim also not Lumaisus Begranis like the carbonated Shleiva. You kind of mechem yikhu son. Zelum Shoichad. It was Shoichad, and you see the pasuk. Right, so it's a pasuk. Kein atem kulchem chazisim v'loma ze hevel tabol is a pasuk in a yev, and the pasuk in Eshe says esn and the kol garnas degan. So you see that he existed at that time. It's the same lashon. Shul banachmim shem Rabbi Yonis amimei malchus shva. Oh, Yoshnem says vatipel shva vatikochem. Right, so this is that story with Eve's family. So it was the time Al Cheshvan. Reb Nosson we make Kazdim Hoshnim. It says Kazdim Samu Shloisha Roshim. So also pasuk in the Rabbi Yeshua, right? And there's all things that happen in his family. Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha Mimei Cheshverish Hoshnim. It says Yivakshel Melch Nais Vasilis Tovis Ma'ariv Iksiv. Lo Nintzon Oshin Yofes Kibnais Eve. There's nobody as beautiful as the daughters of Eve. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Omer Oili Goyla Haya. He's actually, I guess, in time of Nehemiah. Rabbi Yochanan Omer Oili Goyla Havi Yisrael Haya. And he was also a Yid. From Cain, Rabbi Yochanan lo mimenu Hilchos Avos. That's where Rabbi Yochanan learns out Hilchos Avos from. V'yokom Iyav, and what is this? The Hilchos Avos. V'yokom Iyav Yikras. When he heard the news, because Eli ripped his jacket. Yehuda ben Paz B'Shem Yochanan Mikan she'Avel tzarich l'kurai move that the Avel Laileno has to be standing. And that's when he says the Kriya. Tan Reb Chia Hayili, Ba'olam Goyechat Sadik Nasati Loischori Petatim Elam. So Reb Chia actually argues. He says he was a guy because you see, Hakadosh Baruch Hu says I had one tzaddik, right? He was a guy, and I gave him his son, and I got rid of him. That's it. He had his schar, and this he was a tzaddik, and I gave him his reward on this world. Reb Shimon Lo Kishaim and Ev Lo Hoy Lo Yosef he never existed. Just one second. I'm old enough to remember a couple of lines ago. In fact, the Michael should say that Rav Shimon Lakish, Talmud Rav Shimon Lakish, and Kabbalah Bimei Avram Avinu Hoy. They lived in times of Avram. He just told me a few lines ago. He didn't exist. Elohuaya, actually, he did exist, but the Yisurin Lohad, the Yisurin never have them. Nichtavu Alav, why they write the story about the Yisurin? Elohim Shilulei Bo Alav, Hayochalam Bahem, because he would have been able to withstand the Yisurin. Dorsha Bekiva V'Yicharaf Eliyahu Ben Berech El Abuzi Mishpachas Ram. So what are Bekiva Darshan? Eliyahu Zebilam Ben Berachel Shebo Lekalos Yisrael Ubirchan. So Berachel, right? He ended up being Mevarch them. Lo Hashem Lekech L'Shmuel Bilam. Habuzi, right? And so we see Baruch didn't want to listen to him, and instead it was a bracha. Habuzi Shahaisen Vosi Bezuya Neufel Ugluyanayim. That's what we see. So his bazi was low. Mishpachas Ram Min Haram Yencheni Balak Amaloi. So Rebbe Lozman Azai says to Rebbe Kiva in Hu Kvakisa Lavamokaim. If it's him, Hakadosh Baruch Hu covered it up. If it turns out you're right. Vin lesu, if it's not him, also does fakechim. Eliyahu is going to come and can argue with you. What are you saying? I'm Bilam. Eliyahu ze Yitzchak, actually. Ben Brachel, Ben Shebirchei Hokel, that is Ben Shbashim Shnemeset Vavacheu Hashem. You see by Yitzchak. Abuzi Shebiza Kolbot Avodah B'Shosh Nekel Gamazbech, to show that we were willing to sacrifice, that Avram was willing to sacrifice his son for Hashem. Mishpachas Ram Ben Avram. Fine. Moshe Kosev Zakting Mordech Hamishe Sifrei Torah because of Hashas Balak Ubilam because of Sifrei Shel Eiv. So Moshe wrote obviously Moshe Torah, he wrote Hashas Balak and Bilam and Sifrei Shel Eiv. Ish Tam Yoshev Elikim Esomira Amarav Tachlifa Hisari Yisrael Tigzai Shahoya Vatran. That Shesor Me'ayin Hora means he was a veteran. Knows he didn't give anybody an Ayin Hora. He was like, okay, you have it, good enough, fine, no problem, doesn't bother me. Amalei Zero, man, the less who veteran, what less who cautious? He telling me, Ish Tam V'Yashar, because he was a veteran. So someone's not a veteran. So let's say he's not a veteran. Okay, he doesn't have that meter, but he's not a bad person. So what does that mean exactly? So is therefore a person who's not a veteran is not kosher? So no, El Shahoyim Mevate Al Kilasai. He didn't he didn't bother him if people put him down. That's what we mean to say. So he had what he had actually had, that he didn't hold grudges against people. Hadjan Allah Pek Shem Shemayim, Hadjan Allah Pek Shem Shemayim, Hadjan Allah Pek Shem Shemayim. Wonderful Mazel Tov. We'll start there. Why Misha Kina Lov and Istera, Afilu Shom and Haifa Parech, Yotzi Tink Subdi Rebel Yezer. We'll take care of this Mitzvah Shem in the Daf tomorrow. Wonderful. Thank you for joining.